Hello, my name is Blake Minikin. My CE 320 extra credit PowerPoint presentation is on Jevons paradox and its point of view on fuel consumption. This Jevons paradox is also known as the rebound effect. Who is Jevons and what is his paradox? The name Jevons paradox stems from Williams Stanley Jevons. He was an English economist. This idea, the rebound effect or Jevons paradox, it originally stemmed from coal questions. Jevons' 1865 work, he formed the first iteration. Um, the basic idea was that an increase in efficiency is leading to an increase in consumption rather than a decrease. Simple explanation for this: the efficient in a perfect world scenario, efficiency should increase, and then consumption should decrease. Fuel mileage is originally 10, is increased to 20. It should be cut in half. It should be decreased. The human response to these increases in efficiency, increases in fuel economy, is that consumption ultimately is increasing while efficiency is improving. Rather than continuing the same lifestyles that people lived with previously before the fuel economy has been increased. People decide because of the increase they can do other activities, and ultimately leads to more consumption, even though the fuel economy and mile per gallon is increasing. The other name of this paradox, the rebound effect. It's a similar idea, but it's a more numerical, analytical perspective. This is when the expected savings from the increase in efficiency is greater than the actualized savings. So if let's just say that originally, a mile is costing a car $1, they're expecting it after the increase in fuel economy that it should cost 50 cents. Well, because of the over consuming and the overconsumption nature, maybe the actualized savings is only 20 cents rather than the 50 that they should save. With cars becoming more fuel efficient, it is encouraging human nature and human action for more travel. And so it goes off of the perfect world scenario, and there's an offset of how much savings there will be. What are others' perspectives on this on Jevons paradox? It's hard to track. There's a ton of variables. You have to look at GDP, number of cars in America, number of people in America, number of miles driven. There's tons of different variables. And while engineers and traffic engineers and mechanical or engineers are working on to improve cars and improve efficiencies on the road, there's no easy fix to changing someone's mind on when they want to drive, if they want to go on a joyride in the middle of the night. It's hard to change people's minds when things are so cheap and readily accessible to live differently. My perspective on this, I kind of can take Jevons paradox and apply it to the area that I'm interested in, which is development and construction. And so in the background of this picture, in the background of the slide, you see a aerial view of Hollywood or of California, and you can count the numerous pools and the numerous tennis courts, basketball courts, and the massive houses people have. All these things. You could argue that there should just be one big community pool. People should have a reasonable amount of space in their house. There should be a community tennis court and basketball court, but instead, because things are cheap and accessible, it leads to overconsumption of even just energy to power the house, power the lights, heat the water up, replace the water, filter the water for people's pools. So while things are cheaper, this lavish lifestyles that we're living in America are leading to over consuming culture. So solutions to the problem, on one side we can ignore it and we can be satisfied that the fuel economy is there's we can be satisfied with the advances we're making, which is those should not be discounted. But on the other side, we need to come up with a way to change the way humans act and react to improvements. And so we need to design ways to encourage these things. One idea that I have, which I think in history is successful campaigns have launched in at a young age. And so if you put in in school systems, tell kids and encourage kids and convince them that it's cool not to consume more fuel than they need or to drive more than they should, encourage these values and these habits to kids, walking, carpooling, and driving the car that fits your lifestyle. If there's a single person shouldn't be driving a dually truck that gets 6 miles to the gallon. They should probably drive something that's more economical. So while it's not an easy fix, there is solutions to the problem. I think we just need to solve them. But yeah, that's Jevons paradox, and that is my presentation.